Guys, guys, guys! I just got back from Shazam. I did the early screening Fandango thing, and I have to tell you right away. I love it. I love it. I love it. DC has a really good film. They finally understand. They are having fun with superheroes. Shazam is the perfect film to usher in this new era of superheroes are fun. Shazam is everything I wanted it to be, guys. Let me pull up my notes. Please go see it because, as a favor to me, I want this film to be successful. I want to show WB and the DC writers and in the movie universes that this is how we want our films. It is it is every kid's superhero dream fantasy just realized cinematically extremely well, if not perfect. There are so many good aspects to the film. It is funny. There is so much comedy here. You know, in fact, that might be the only criticism I might have with the film, that there is so much comedy. It might border on too much comedy at times. Sort of overcompensating for how dark and morose and unfun and emo the DCEU has become and has been in the past. Shazam is a huge course correction. Like I said, it's overcompensating at times where the film probably should be more serious and probably should be more relishing in its badass parts and scenes. Sometimes they'll do a joke anyway, and it kind of undermines it. But if any film is going to have too much comedy, if any film is going to be cheesy as hell in that way, it's going to be Shazam. Remember, this is a film about a 14-year-old boy who transforms into a huge muscular superhero with powers on par with Superman. And Zachary, I got to tell you, Zachary Levi is the reason why this film works so fucking well. He is Shazam. There's nobody on this planet that can play it better. It's just so perfect. He has such charm. You want to like him. As a kid who grew up loving Superman, this film is 100% wish fulfillment, because that's essentially Shazam's, whole core concept and idea. The fact that you're a kid and you want superpowers, and this film, it's basically what would happen if you got superpowers. What would happen if all of a sudden you became Superman? And it focuses so much on that. I would call it like a combination between Christopher Reeve's Superman and Big with Tom Hanks. It is so good. And even the villain is good. Mark Strong, who is, by the way, he's been in the DC universe before. Don't forget, he is Sinestro in the terrible Green Lantern film that probably will never see him as Sinestro again, which sucks because he is literally the best Sinestro. But here, he plays the villain so well. He doesn't do over the top, well, there actually is a good moment where he does go over the top, played for laughs. But he just takes it seriously, and I did not expect this doctor character to be, a threat to Shazam, but the way it's handled here, he is, and they make fun of the fact that he's just a mole guy. Remember that this is, a story of essentially two friends, who are going through this experience of getting superpowers. And it's a another really strong aspect of the film. Not only is the action good, not only did they embody the character perfectly. Like, this is Shazam. Look what happens, DC. Look what happens, WB, when you adapt characters like their comic book counterparts. Marvel has been doing it for a decade, 17, 20 films, and it's worked. And now finally you do it, and you're going to see how well this works. It's got elements of the original character from 7 decades ago. I think Shazam is a character that stands the test of time, just like Superman, because it is that wish fulfillment. It is that aspiring to be something greater. And in this film, they have lots of those themes in there, especially the family. This is a family-friendly film, and it is a kid-centric film. So, does that mean that you're not going to enjoy it as an adult? Hell no. I'm an adult, and I fucking love it. Now, if you're out of touch with your inner child, then yeah, you're probably going to thumb your nose at this film and think parts of it are fucking stupid, but I feel sorry for you if you've lost your inner child. And this film just speaks 100% to your inner child. What was I saying? I was saying it's very faithful to the character. This is the way. It couldn't have been done more perfectly. I'm serious. Shazam has been adapted so good. It takes elements from the original character. It's got New 52 stuff in it. It's got, surprisingly, Marvel family stuff. Why do I keep calling him Marvel? Because Shazam was called Captain Marvel at the time, and now he's the Shazam, so I guess it's the Shazam family stuff. So all of this is in this film. And it is just so fucking good. There's so many references to DC characters that I love. Of course, his friend has an obsession with Superman, and that helps me out. And they constantly reference Superman. They reference Batman. They play so many things for laughs. In fact, this is a comedy film with action secondary, okay? But it is comedy number one and action number two. If you go in with that mindset, it's going to be perfect for you. If you completely throw out the greater DCEU, because this film nails it. It is having fun with its character. It's so good. Zachary Levi is so good. The supporting character, what is the kid's name? Jack Dylan Grazer. And he plays Freddy, Billy Batson's friend, and he is so good in the film. He's like this comic nerd. He's like me, and he says all the things that I'm thinking as I'm watching, all the things that you would think to do, he does. I don't want to spoil anything in the film, but the majority of the film sort of sets up the mythos of Shazam. And then when Billy gets his powers, there's plenty of really fun scene after scene of exploring what it's like to have superpowers from a boyish point of view and standpoint. It is so much fun. And then, bam, crash, the villain subplot, which started the film, then crashes right in the middle with Shazam, almost before he really even gets any sort of training. He's really kind of taking advantage of his powers in a bad way, and not really taking the responsibility, and the film has good messages in that sense as well. But the villain just clashes right there. And if you don't know the mythos of Shazam, some of they have the 7 deadly sins. There's demons. And I'm surprised they went with demons in the film. They could have easily changed some of the lore as WB and DCEU does from time to time. But no, there are demons in this film, and they fucking bite people's heads off. Now, you don't see any blood. This is not a bloody film. Obviously, it's a kids-friendly film, and the demons probably could look even more disgusting than they do, but they do look like demons, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, that maybe young children might, I'm surprised they went for that angle, but I'm glad that they did. Now, I think they probably could have gone a little more creative, like in the recent Shazam stories in New 52, like make them all like unique and like human-looking kind of demons. With all their own sense of style for greed and lust and all these different anger and all these different emotions. But they didn't. They went with the standard demons. But yeah, so the villain power level is on par, and he even has some sympathetic qualities to him. Now, is he Thanos? Thanos, I like to mispronounce. No, nowhere near that. But I wouldn't say he's like a generic shitty villain. He's better than, say, some of the old Marvel problem villains by just one tick. He's better than Ronin and things like that, just because they set him up in the backstory. They make him a little bit sympathetic, and honestly, he has some commonalities with Billy Batson as the character. Now, Billy Batson, Asher Angel is the young person, the young kid who plays Billy Batson, and he does an all right job. I believe his acting. He's doing a good job, but he's just nowhere near as charismatic as Zachary Levi when he's on film. And Zachary has such good chemistry with our Freddie Freeman character. It is just so fun to watch these two play off each other. But they use the transformation perfectly, and at all times you believe that Zachary is a 14-year-old boy or 15-year-old boy, it just with the body of a superhero. I'm serious. They just really couldn't have made it any better than that. I don't really want to spoil anything. I just want to tell you it's very satisfying, and I want you to go out and see this film as a favor to me. So I've told you all the positives. It's so amazing. There is uh, there's cameos, there's end credit scenes, and we'll discuss all that in a separate spoilers centric video. But yeah, I just really want you guys to go out and support this film. This has personality. It has fun. It's basically what I want for the DCEU. I really hope that this is the direction they're taking. And coincidentally enough, it's directed by David F. Sandberg, and he is from YouTube. He was doing all these YouTube shorts, horror shorts, and I actually saw. I actually saw one of his movies recently, Annabelle Creation, which Annabelle was terrible, but Annabelle Creation is a really good horror film. You guys need to go out and see it. And I recently bought it and I was watching it with my girls, watching the DVD commentary, and just David Sandberg, he does this little thing where he's like, I'm gonna show you kind of like what it's like to be a director and how to show the process of directors. And just as he's talking, I'm like, wow, this guy is so down to earth. He's like so cool and interesting to listen to, like a YouTuber. And I'm just so happy to see that he does such a good job directing the film here as well. I think he just knows how to work with his actors, and he understands the character, and that was what was so critical to Superman's characters, having a director understand the central character, and David understands 100% who Shazam is, who Billy Batson is. There's a plot line surrounding what does it mean to have a home, what does it mean for family. There's a really powerful message in there. I think I didn't initially get some emotion, but I felt like they did the foster family so damn well. And then finally, it does come to a head where I was feeling a little bit of emotion for Billy Batson in one particular scene. So the emotion there, the action's there, the fun is there, the comedy is there, the correct character adaptation is there, and I'm so jealous because I hope that a lot of that WB is listening to the feedback. Aquaman was very faithful to the character. Boom. Guess what happened? Super success. Wonder Woman was faithful, success, and now Shazam is a success. Now, what is my opinion on Man of Steel? I still think Man of Steel, I'm going to give you my final verdict here. Shazam, I want to give a 9 out of 10 to. I really do. But I have this tendency to be overexcited, and I'm really doing my best to try to be a critic in a more way. I'm telling you, as a moviegoer, it's a fucking 9 out of 10. As a fan of Shazam, my boy, do I like Shazam better than Superman? No, but Shazam can be my best fucking friend, okay? I want to see a Superman Shazam crossover with Black Adam. Make it happen. I'll pay you. I'll pay you. I'll see the film 7 times if we can get The Rock, Henry Cavill, and Shazam in the same fucking film. Please, I don't do anything. Okay, I went off on a wild tangent here. So I want to give it a 9 out of 10, but critically, I have to reorganize all of my DCEU ratings. I think it's probably an 8 out of 10, and this gives it a lot of room to grow. But man, it's so fucking close to a 9 out of 10. I really want to give it a 9 out of 10. That's what I gave Man of Steel, and I think that you could make these two separate things just because they have nailed the character so god dang well. And with Man of Steel, that film to me is an Elseworld Superman story. Okay, the old Superman films with Christopher Reeve, that is the one that I would consider, the canon one. And Man of Steel would be an Elseworld story, and it just a really good sci-fi angle Elseworld story. I love all the shit on Krypton. I love the fact that he's inexperienced. I love the fact that there's so much collateral destruction, and he takes on 40 Superman, and he's defending his mother, and it's just so good. But it was a tiny bit too morose, tiny bit a little too dark before they started to realize that you really need to lighten up with Superman. And I hated all the Jesus crap. I hate it when they take that angle with Superman. But it's still a 9 out of 10 for me. And honestly, fuck it, I'm going 9 out of 10. I'm going 9 out of 10 with Shazam. I wanted to give it an 8. I can't do it. I'll start deducting points after this film. Okay, I'll start giving -1 to everything. But no, Shazam is a 9 out of 10, and that is to alert you guys that it is worth every penny. You need to go and see it. One thing I do lament is that there's not really a good theme song for Shazam. I'm trying to hum the theme for Shazam, and it's not coming to me. So I don't think the soundtrack was quite as good. But so you could see there. Critical point of view, 8. Final rating, 9 out of 10, guys. Go and see it, please. We're going to do a spoilers discussion with my boys who saw it with me. Alex and Delrith this time saw it with me. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.